Hi there, it's Sherry from Twitter Painted with Paper with a slider card tutorial for Kraftin Kimmie stamps featuring one of the images from the Great Adventures stamp set. My spaceship was colored with Copics, and I've added a little bit of glossy accents to the window for added dimension. I'm using cardstock cut to 12 inches by 6 inches, scored at 6 inches, and then folded in half. I've also cut a piece of pattern paper to 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, and I'm going to attach that with zip dry adhesive. I've also created hills out of pattern paper. I just freehanded the shapes, and I'll go ahead and add those also using zip dry adhesive. I'm going to be careful to only add the glue to the bottom of the hills, and you'll see why in a little bit. I've also cut a strip of the same pattern paper to 1 5/8 by 5 1/2, and I cut mine on my Cameo, but you could also use this punch from Stampin' Up. I think it's a slotted punch. You could even use an X-Acto knife to cut the strip out as well. And I've added foam adhesive to the back of that, and I'll go ahead and attach that in a minute. You will also need 2 pennies and a couple pop-up dots, round pop-up dots preferably. And I'm just going to make a sandwich with those and then attach them to the spaceship. You're going to want to make sure when you add your strips of adhesive that you don't put them too close to the cutout part, because your spaceship will be hindered when it's sliding up and down. So you just want to be careful to add the foam on the edges. And I'm now tucking those under the hills, which is why I didn't adhere the top part of the hill, so I could tuck this strip under there. And I'm just making sure that the spaceship will slide up and down, and it does. And as you move it up and down, by the way, it will become easier to do. And just getting my placement right. Checking to make sure it still slides up and down, and I'm happy with that. And now I've also cut out some clouds with my Cameo. You could also freehand those. Stamped my sentiment onto one of the clouds, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere those as well. And that is pretty much it. Once I've adhered the final cloud, you can add flowers. I'm going to be doing that in a bit, and to the hills, and maybe a couple more clouds. And I want to thank you for joining me today, and all of my supplies will be listed down below, and the spaceship from the Great Adventures set can be, of course, purchased at the Kraftin Kimmie stamp store. Thank you so much for joining me today.